in the art room tonight.
Still ready. Now go.
Okay, it's tasty treat time. And my daughter and my mom are gonna help me, and we're gonna make fudge, divinity, and cookies because Christmas is in 2 days. So I hope you all are doing the same thing at your homes. So we have our mixers out, we have pans out, we're gonna make divinity, we're gonna make fudge, we're gonna make cookies, and she has some really awesome cookies she's gonna make. You wanna tell us about the black cookies?
So I decided something that would be really fun this Christmas and a little bit of a
And by
giggle.
the way, this is Mackenzie.
Hi, yes, I'm Mackenzie.
Thanks the other kid.
I'm the daughter. So I've decided that it would be really fun, especially with getting the family together. And this year has been a very tough year. All of us have been a little naughty and maybe not quite following COVID policy. So I decided to get some black sugar cookie mix, and we're going to make little bags of coal as an entry to our family Christmas this year. On top of that, as well with the fudge, I'm a type 1 diabetic, so we are going to try a peanut butter fudge low sugar version, and that way, for those of you who are trying to maybe watch the weight a little bit this Christmas, since not a lot of people are going to the gym, you might be liking it, or if you're also keto friendly, it is a version of a keto. So 2 very interesting recipes. We're going to see how they work this year.
Sounds like fun to me. So, Mom, do you want to come over and help us get started with the fudge and the divinity? Sure. So there are some tricks to these things. With the fudge, you got to be quick, Johnny, on the spot. And with the divinity, so this is my mom, Victoria, with a C.
Traditional.
So with the divinity, you have to be Johnny on the spot. You have to be quick with getting it done and whipping it and get it onto the pans or whatever you're putting it on quickly, or it'll stiffen up too much in your pan or your mixer, and you'll have a pile of divinity, but it'll all be in here. So you've got to be kind of quick with that.
It will be cement.
Yeah, it turns to cement pretty much. So what do we all want to get started with first?
Well, if you guys would like to start getting the divinity started, since that is the most time of the essence one,
Yep.
If you guys want to get those ingredients together, I'll go ahead and start getting my fudge ingredients measured out because that's a very quick put together. So I'll at least measure them out, come back over, and give you guys a hand.
Okay.
Do you have the recipe for divinity?
I have the recipe for divinity. Actually, it's on my phone. I also have our recipe for sugar. This is with extra sugar in case we need that sugar. So we make, in our family, it's been a tradition to make fantasy fudge, which is made with the cream from the jet puffed cream, and you have evaporated milk, sugar, and that's pretty much it. You do have to have a candy thermometer,
And this one.
which is in this drawer. We're at Mom's house tonight, so you need a candy thermometer for that part of it. And we need a pan, and we're going to start putting everything together. So we will be talking to you as we're making, but we got to keep making or it won't get done.
And since you are the lady of the house and this is your kitchen, may I ask where your mixing bowls are?
We don't have it.
Okay, I will work with what we got then.
We have some.
Perfect. So that's exactly what I need.
And you need.
Oh, in
I can
here.
use one for now. We're gonna do the fudge first.
Wait a minute. I'm wrong.
Oh, we've got plenty. Perfect.
I got it.
Here's all kinds of bowls in
Okay,
here.
perfect.
Measuring cups and all that stuff.
And measuring cups will be the next thing I need. So
The
just a
first
much.
thing I need to do is I have the recipe already on my phone for fantasy fudge. So for those of you that don't know this also, the fantasy fudge recipe is right on the back of the jet puffed marshmallow mix. So what you need with that is 3 cups of sugar. Yes, this is very sweet. I made this last year for all of our children. We have 7. So I made fudge and divinity for all the kids and family members. And my daughter reminded me, can you remember that I'm type 1 and maybe not like the one that's with jet puffed and 3 cups of sugar?
Which is why we're doing peanut butter fudge this year to try it out.
So we're doing it to show that you can do something a little different. Excuse Polar Bear, who is the size of a pea.
He wants to be part of it.
Definitely not the size of a polar bear.
If you can
So, I like to take the sugar when I make my sugar, just because I like to keep the little bowl over the top in case I go a little bit too much, and then it makes it a little bit easier. And I just scoop because I'm using a very big mixing, and this one actually has 3 cups, goes all the way to the top. So then I know if I make it to the top that I have got all that I need. So this one, I don't need that other little device in there. So we're just gonna put, so we got 3 cups of sugar in here. And then if you know anything about making fudge, when you make fudge, you don't need to bake it. You make the fudge and you don't really need to do anything. I do sometimes spray the container I'm putting it in, but glass is the best for fudge, but you can put it in metal. If you're gonna put it in metal, I do suggest you put just a little bit of butter or something to keep it from sticking too much. But generally, I don't have a problem with the fudge because you put a lot of sugar, but you also have quite a bit of butter in there too. So we are literally, if you shake that out, we are right at 3 cups. So we've got our 3 cups of sugar. We have several pans. We have the pans out ready to go because it's a lot easier to have them ready to go than it is to try to get them out at the last minute. So with this recipe, you've got 3 cups of sugar and you've got 3/4 cups of butter or margarine. I prefer butter. Actually, that will work. So I always get the stick butter, and it's 3/4, like it says here, it is 3/4 of a cup. So you have to remember 3/4 of a cup is a half a cup.
1 1/2.
This is a half a cup, so you need, that's 1 cup, and it's 3/4 of a cup. So you need 2 of these, and you're gonna cut 1 down partially. So it's half and 3/4. So you need another 1/4 of a cup. So that's half of another stick. And so I'm gonna cut that in half. I'm gonna put all my ingredients over by the stove. And that way I can get it all going at the same time. Because what you gotta do is you gotta get the heat up, and it has to get to a certain temperature. So once, if you get it to the other temperature, and you do not use condensed milk. You always use evaporated milk for this, by the way. So for the evaporated milk, it's 1 can, 5 ounces. So this one here is a 12-ounce can. So this would actually make 2 and have a little left over. So if I'm making a big batch like I did for, I think I made for 20 people last year. So I was able to use this. I just measured it out in a measuring cup. So I like these measuring cups here that have the side on here, and it gives you your ounces as well. So you can pop this open with your ounce. Most of the time I know where everything is in my mom's kitchen, but sometimes I don't. Mom, where is a can opener to pop the can? Not to open the can.
What kind of a can opener?
A can opener that can pop a hole in the can.
And actually, there's one up on the fridge.
Oh, is there?
Oh, it should be on the refrigerator.
Ah, right there. So easy. That's where mine should be, on the fridge where you can easily find it. Thank you. And don't forget to shake your can before you open it, because it's really hard to shake it afterwards.
Another note to self, clean up as you go. Best thing to do, especially whenever you're doing multiple
Except for that.
projects that you can keep.
That's my recipe.
Definitely clean up as you go. Make sure it's a little bit easier, especially whenever you're going between projects.
And my husband and daughter know that they have to do that for me half the time, because I am notorious for just leaving all the garbage in my way.
That's why I mentioned it.
I know.
Perfect.
So you don't use but 5 ounces of cream. That's condensed milk, cream, whatever you want to call it. So I will put the butter back over here for whoever needs that. And then it is 3 packages, which is actually 4 ounces each. It's really hard on the packaging for the semi-sweet chocolate because the semi-sweet chocolate, you can't measure out by ounces. So it's a little bit different when you're trying to measure it out by ounces as to how you do it. So it calls for 3 packages. The big bag is, how many ounces? It doesn't say right there. Over here it is 2 pounds or 2.5, 2 pounds, 2.5 ounces total for the big bag. So for this particular batch, I am going to use, I do actually have 3 different kinds. So I'm actually going to use 3 different ones. I've done this before and it comes out great. Comes out just as good. And so I have my 3 packages. I usually have them pre-opened and sitting on the side because once you start putting the chocolate in is the last thing you do. So the last thing you put in is the chocolate, but you don't want to get your candy, because that's what you're doing. You're getting it to a candy temperature. And once you get it to that 234 degrees,
Do you want to use that chocolate?
I'll get another package.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So when you're doing this on the thermometer, you got to get it to the candy temp. So you don't want it to you want it to the softball stage, which is 234 degrees. So that's the temperature you want to get it to. Yeah, I tried to measure out the 2 small the big bag into what the size of the ones are.
Oh, yeah.
And make 3. I'd rather just buy 2 more, which I think would make sense. Okay, so.
Cool. I am back to your helper.
All right, I got 3. Down there is the saucepan, so we need a fairly decent sized saucepan. Whatever the biggest one is down there is the
This
size.
one looks to be X.
Okay,
Think that's going to be enough?
that probably will do it. Is there a bigger one in the back at all? No, not really. Okay, that'll do. We'll make that work. Okay,
Make it work.
and then the marshmallow cream. And we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So we have our vanilla, and we have measuring
I have a
cups.
measuring right here that I just used for
Got
vanilla.
everything by the stove ready to go, and we're going to turn the stove on. And then the first thing you do, I'm going to read the instructions, and I have made this for 20 years. So trust me, when you follow the instructions, it comes out really good. So you want to have your 9-inch pan with foil. I don't ever use foil. Never have. The foil gets stuck to the fudge, and then you can't get the foil off the fudge. So you, maybe you could read that? I don't know if you can read it either. Can you
Okay.
read that? I can't
Which
read
part do you want me to read?
the instructions.
Okay, perfect. So you do the 9-inch pan with foil, which we're not doing today. You're going to bring sugar, butter, and evaporated milk to a full rolling boil in a large saucepan on medium heat, stirring constantly. After that, you're going to cook for 4 minutes or until candy thermometer reaches 234. I told you I have far sight issues, not near sight.
I know.
I'm very offended right now. You're going to, after stirring constantly, you'll end up removing from the heat. After that, you'll end up adding your chocolate and marshmallow cream and stir until they're melted as well. Now, you are able to add nuts if you would like. At this point, we're only going to add the vanilla. And then you just continuously mix well. If you've ever had straight vanilla extract, it is not nearly as sweet as everybody thinks. A little bit goes a very long way.
Yes.
I made the mistake of, it's going to taste like vanilla, and it was, no. Kids are bad. Tell them I'm going to give you vanilla extract. Probably that'll be good again. After that, you'll end up pouring into your pan and spreading to cover the bottom of the pan and let it cool completely. So very simple instructions for fudge, just very, very time sensitive.
Yeah.
Would be my phrase.
You just have to keep stirring and making sure that it is moving.
Yes,
You
and
don't want it
especially
to sit
with a
in the
pan.
pan and get
Especially with a
stagnant.
pan, you have to make sure when you're stirring, don't just stir. You have to make sure you're getting into the corners, into the creases, because any part of burnt fudge will ruin your entire batch. It can, it will. So you really have to be on the ball with it.
So I always make the butter get completely melted
Yep.
before I start adding
Perfect.
anything into it.
Did you get a stirrer?
A stirrer, like a spoon.
Yeah.
That
Or
is
you want right
It's in
over
the
there.
drawer right next to the.
any good.
You want to do a whisk?
This is a good.
That one? That one? Okay. I stole the other one. I'm sorry.
This one's perfect, actually.
Yeah, because it has the angle. Perfect. Wonderful.
So you just got to keep this stuff moving, and I'm going to pull up the Divinity. So as one person is stirring one thing or waiting for another thing, and get that off my phone, I will pull up my Divinity recipe.
Then I better be stirring because you're the master at divinity. So
I am really good at making Divinity.
you are very good at making divinity.
I have to admit that.
I'll be the fudge queen for tonight. How about that?
Okay, that sounds
There we go.
okay. I don't want all the words getting down. It tells you, it gives you all this other stuff before it gets to the actual recipe. I don't know about the rest of you guys out there, but I get really annoyed I literally had to scroll like 5 pages down before I could find the
That's how my fudge
actual
was.
recipe.
my
And
my
that
ingredients
one
were at the
is-
very bottom.
That one is not my recipe. Because I like the traditional recipe. I don't like the one with the nut.
I have cookbooks.
I do too. I didn't bring any over.
I got a whole bunch of them.
So the key with Divinity is you have to mix it and you have to separate it properly and you have to get it to the 250 degrees with that one. So this is going to be fun because we have two things that we're making with the candy thermometer, and so we're going to time this so that this one can be cooking sooner. I'm going to get all the ingredients together for the Divinity, and you can keep working on that because I
Perfect.
think you should be starting
Yep.
to put sugar in.
Sugar is actually ready to go in now.
And
We
the
just
cream.
melted all of it, and then we can do the evaporated milk. Perfect.
And it's all right there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So a key for this is I just put the milk in,
Milk in
stir
first.
it in with the butter, and then you slowly with your spoon as you're stirring, and you start
Slowly add the
adding
sugar.
the sugar.
Perfect.
Because that way you're not getting a chunk of sugar that hardens up and gets crispy or anything like that. So with this one, we again have that much sugar left after we just did all that other sugar. For this one, we are going to do two cups of sugar. So this one, we need 2 cups of sugar. That seems weird. Did I give you 2 nuts?
Nope, you gave me 3
Yeah,
cups.
this 3 cups, right?
Yeah.
Because it just looks way bigger than this one is. And this one says it's 4 cups. Must be
Oh,
the
it's because
shape.
of how thick this
It
bowl
must
is.
be the shape and the thickness of the bowl, because boy, is that deceiving. So as my kids can attest, I don't like fudge with nuts in it. So every year I make my fudge with pieces of toffee. I make it with cinnamon candy canes, which are somewhere
Oh
around
my
here.
gosh.
And I crunch those up and I put it in the fudge, and they are really good that way. Super, super yummy. Extremely bad for you. extremely bad for you. In case
Especially
I
diabetic.
In case I didn't say it, they're very bad for you. So, for the divinity, we got 2 cups of sugar, and I really do try to be spot on with the measurements. So you got 2 cups of sugar, half a cup of white corn syrup, half a cup of cold water, 2 eggs whites, room temperature, pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of pure vanilla.
Now, I think I have a device in here to get the egg white.
Oh, I you mean to get the egg whites out of the egg?
Nope.
I know, I am the egg master. I might have to steal that part from you and
Vertigo.
de-yolk your eggs.
Well, I don't know, but I have another cup thingy, so I'm gonna do it in here. I believe it's two eggs, yes, 2 eggs. So what I usually do for my eggs, there's a couple ways to do this, but the way I do it, and I hope you guys can see me, I'm not sure where I need to be standing, but I'll do it right here on top of this thing. And I learned this from watching somebody else's show, but she just takes the egg, opens it up, and drops it in her hand. That's all she does. Drops it in her hand, and then it lets all the goo go onto one place and then into another. And then what you're left with is just the yolk. That's what she does. She does a cooking thing. She's a really cool lady. And I just made a mess of that one. But I still was able to. Now, you know, one of the things that I do, I just interrupted my own self, but because I had a thought. So one of the things that I do is when I am using egg whites only and I don't need the yolks, I whip those yolks up and then I mix it into my dog's food.
Oh, you are so lucky I just got that. This is actually 8 cups of sugar.
Okay. See, I thought it looked like it was like way
So
too
that is
much.
actually 8 cups. So I actually put an extra cup of sugar in here. There's actually 4 cups in here.
Okay.
So we might have to add a little extra chocolate. I was looking and I was like, you know, that looks like a lot of sugar.
I was
already in
thinking
here.
the same thing. I'm like, man, that's a lot of sugar.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I would have done 3 cups already.
That's my eyes for you. I can see that, well, there's 4 cups left. We had 8. So there's 2 cups or 1 cup extra.
Yes, there
Let's see
is.
how that one works out.
Gonna make this one a little extra sweet for everybody this year.
That'll just make it really sweet.
Good thing
Because
I'm
when
making
I
my
looked
pizza.
at that, I was like, you know,
That's quite a lot
I
of
could
sugar.
remember that mine like that I thought was really a lot more sugar in it. So we got 2 cups of sugar, a half a cup of white corn syrup, and then we've got our egg whites, and a half a cup of cold water. I've got the water going cold.
This one goes to a rolling boil.
Got that going cold. So, well, you know, this is one of those things that sometimes
Learning moments with family.
that's exactly. You know, I was just checking to see if you were paying attention.
Of course I already am.
Half a cup of cold water. So I've got to pour one here. So half a cup of cold water. We've got cold water now. I can read the.
4 minutes on a rolling boil.
Okay, so we got a half a cup of cold water. And of course, I haven't measured out the corn syrup yet.
And starch.
We're trying to make a mess out of every single one of her measuring.
Oh, of course.
See how much measuring we can get out of this. Now this is only a half a cup of corn syrup, so I usually use the nice little ones that you can separate off of here. And we're gonna do a half a cup. And that's just corn syrup, light corn syrup. You don't use the dark corn syrup, you use the light corn syrup. And one of the things that I have always done when you're doing corn syrup is I open that half a thing of butter that you didn't use. This is just a trick my grandma taught me. And you butter the bottom of your
Oh, wow.
measuring cup. And then your corn syrup can fall out. I'm sure there's other people that have better ways, but my grandmother taught me, and my grandmother was an amazing cook and baker. So I'm still gonna go with what my grandma taught me.
You want to take a look at this? Sure we're looking all right still?
Oh yeah, it's looking good. You just gotta keep stirring.
I've got 2.5 minutes left on the timer for it.
I'm gonna, don't worry about the timer.
Okay.
All you need to worry about is this little doohickey right here.
Just put it in the center. So
And when it gets to
235.
235, there should be a line there that says soft. When it gets to that soft stage, that is your stage.
Perfect.
I've got the salt right here. And I've got my vanilla. Right. Yeah, it goes fairly, the last like 4 degrees will feel like it takes an eternity.
Yep, we just already popped up to 200 degrees, getting there pretty quickly.
All right, so we've got our mixer already plugged in, guys, and I hope I don't end up making too much noise. So right now I am gonna take this off real quick, and then we are gonna, whoop, wrong one. I'm gonna take this part off because we're gonna whip the egg whites. So there we go, and so you're supposed to lay sheets of wax paper down. I honestly don't have any wax paper, so we are going to put them on. You have tinfoil, right?
Yes.
I am going to put them on tinfoil. Down here?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to double check. So I'm going to use the tinfoil. It will still work with the tinfoil. We did get some cute little trays. We got some cute little trays, and it says, "Believe in the magic of Christmas." I got these at the dollar store. Just something quick, and so you have something to put your candies on.
Would you like to take this candy thermometer from me? We just hit perfect timing.
Perfect timing? Okay.
Perfect timing.
So I'm going to set this aside. Get some, oh, you can't put water on that right away. If you put water on that right away, which I almost did, it'll crack it and break it. You got all that? You want me to pour while you stir?
Yes, ma'am, if you don't mind. Got a little warm, so it's a little melted. Ah! I love dark chocolate, so that's okay.
So with the fudge, you gotta stir, 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 and it'll get harder and harder to stir
Oh yeah,
as
already
you pour
feeling
in all the chocolate.
Woo!
Yep, it'll really start stiffening up. So I am going to ask my husband to come in here and give a hand real
Are we
quick.
adding marshmallow cream as well?
Oh, shit. Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Of course. I've noticed this thing a little thicker than it probably
It's
should be.
supposed to be at the same time.
Mhm.
I'm coming. If I can get it open.
You got it? Take a knife to it. Take a knife to it. Says the one from Texas.
You need something to open up.
Well, I got it. She was right. Take a knife to it.
Ooh. Well, we're about to start burning fudge here.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Luckily, this is the fun part when you get this in there. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm starting to hurt.
You got anything to scoop that way? Here, this one. Scoop.
There we go. There we go. I don't want to just, you know. Give me that marshmallow cream. Yeah. There we go.
I usually do the same thing when I'm prepared, duh. And I butter my spoon.
I
Or
actually heat mine.
Do you heat yours?
I put mine over a flame. Mm-hmm. Woo!
How's that? Does that heated?
Yeah, a little warm. Not gonna lie.
Little fudge on the arm.
That's all I'm allowed to have.
Yeah. Whew. All right, here's the last little bit. We'll see how this one turned out with extra sugar.
Extra sugar and
Late.
delayed.
Late on the cream.
I don't know.
The
I got
marshmallow.
this. I'm sure I got this. Woo! Don't touch the hot handle.
It tastes good. It's a
Now you want to tell them why you have the marshmallow cream in?
no. You go ahead.
So the reason you add the marshmallow cream, it gives you that little extra fluff, and it's not going to be so dense that you're basically chewing into sugar. So what it does is it just gives a little bit of an airy feel, not too much, but it also does kind of dull down the chocolate sensation just slightly, so that way it's not an overpowering scent. Some fudge does not require marshmallow cream. Actually, a lot of fudges don't. This one does just because of how rich it is. It does kind of help with the extra sugar, which we already added, so I don't know how much the marshmallow fudge is really going to help.
Well, and of course, because we also did this with 1 bag of semi-sweet chocolate and 2 bags of dark chocolate, because the dark chocolate is a little bit better for diabetics. So she can at least eat some of this,
Try it.
whereas she shouldn't really eat the other one. But she can with a little bit of the dark chocolate. It's just a matter of keeping an eye on the sugars when you do something like that. But I think between today and tomorrow, we're going to have plenty of treats that we're going to make that are diabetic friendly, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people coming over that are diabetic.
Oh yeah, we do, don't we?
Yes. So we are a little bit more diligent in our house about that situation. And so we're cognizant of it already, which oftentimes the people that come over to our house for parties and stuff like that actually really like it, because they will say, oh, I'm diabetic. And I'm like, everything here is diabetic friendly. And they're
There
like,
are very few things
Holy
that
cow.
aren't, and if they are, the key thing about most diabetics, most people don't know, it's not that we're allergic to sugar, it's called all in moderation.
yeah.
So although yes, I shouldn't eat a lot of the fudge, doesn't mean I can't. It's all about just taking small bits at a time and knowing what your body can handle and what you can do. So if you ever do run into the issue of somebody being keto friendly or diabetic or having an allergy is a little bit different, but keto and diabetic, you can really work with it and understand you can offer them something sweet without making them feel excluded. So just always remember, small bits is better than nothing, especially when you're diabetic. It really does hurt the pride a little bit, and also does kind of mess with the event. So just know, there you go.
Especially you never know if somebody's coming to your party that is diabetic, and if you have everything is just super high carbs and super high in sugars, then they feel like they shouldn't eat anything.
Okay.
So we try
What
to
hand
make
would
it.
you like to use?
I am. Let's do that in this glass right now. Right?
Perfect.
Get that out of your
Thank
way.
you so much. This is about perfect fudge consistency, actually. Breakable while still staying together, not really crumbling, but still being very malleable.
So while she is putting that into the bowl or the pan, I'm going to show you guys this. Am I on camera here?
Camera. Yep,
is
you got
it-
that one right there.
Can it see this?
Yeah, you're on camera one. Camera one can see
Okay,
the wide angle.
So in our community that we live, we do different things like the fairy basket, which is anonymous, and you sign up to be a fairy giver. So you have a basket that you make for somebody else, and you get put on that list. Once you have given a basket, then the person who's in charge of it in our community will then give your name to someone else, and then they will, in kind, give you a little basket. So for Christmas, we're doing a You've Been Grinched. So there was someone in our community that wrote a poem, and I did our own version of their poem, and it says, "The year 2020 has been quite a bit ropey. It has left a lot of us feeling frustrated and grumpy. We may feel like the Grinch this holiday season, and with everything going on, it's for a good reason. But this is Christmas time, a time to spread cheer, to help and spread love to those we hold dear. So don't be like the Grinch and take Christmas away. Share it with friends, family, and neighbors to help Christmas stay." In this, and there's somebody stuck in her pocket.
Not really, it's stuck on the counter, but close.
Oh, okay. "In this Grinchy basket is some holiday delight, delivered to you secretly in the dead of night. You've been Grinched, and now it's your turn to spread the love and holiday cheer without any fear. Please play along, share in the fun, fill up the basket, deliver and run. Once you are done, show your Grinch basket for all to see, 'cause being Grinched twice is just too Grinchy." So that's our little poem, and on the front it has the 2020 stink, stank, stunk, and a little mask. And in this basket we made for one of our neighbors. I don't know him, but we know that he wanted to be Grinch, so we are Grinching him. So we have a cute little treat from the dollar store, and then we made this with our business. So it's a stink, stank, stunk, You've Been Grinched candle. So it's for a guy who is alone and lives on his own. A LED candle with a button is probably much better for him. He doesn't have to light it and burn his house down. So stink, stank, stunk candle. And then we have a dirty, offensive Grinch cup that I'm not going to read out loud, because if you've been watching my show, you've already seen this offensive cup that we made. And then, of course, you know the Grinch steals Christmas trees. So there's a Christmas tree, and it's upside down on purpose. There are some green cookies, some green Thin Mints, and of course, for every guy, they love barbecue sauce, so we threw in a little bit of Budweiser barbecue sauce. So this little trinket here will be delivered to his stink, stank, stunk house when we leave Nana's house here tonight and deliver it. It won't be quite the dead of night, but it'll definitely be at night. So we will be delivering this to our unsuspecting neighbor this evening. And of course, we got the basket at the dollar store. We got the green tinsel at the dollar store. I have the red one, and it was much better quality. It stayed on a lot better. So we put that, wrapped it around a dollar store basket, and that is our Grinchy basket that we will be delivering tonight. So, back to the next thing. So the reason I was doing that part is because I'm going to put a pot on, and I am going to start heating the sugar, corn syrup, and water over medium heat, and you're going to keep that up until the thermometer hits the mixture at 250 degrees. So we have our thermometer. My husband is kindly washing the pan so that we only dirty up one pan in Nana's kitchen instead of 2 or 3, making it a little bit easier. And then we will get that going, and then we will move on to the next part of it. You got that part ready? All right, so now we got the next pan, and we are going to start with the next part of the divinity. So this is, I ate the little bit of sugar mixture that was dropped on the stove. It's yummy. Okay, so in the pan, you just start with the sugar, the corn syrup, and the water. And you're gonna mix those together and you're gonna heat them. And what I usually start with is I start with the water and then I add the corn syrup. And I don't have a little scraper thing, so I'm gonna find that real quick because that'll make it a little bit easier to come out of there. Here you go. So this is the husband. You all have seen him and met him before. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. I don't recognize you though.
They don't recognize him because he doesn't look like Santa anymore. He cut it off all his hair. So we're gonna mix the sugar and all its ingredients and stir, stir, stir. Is that spoon? Oh, he already put the spoon right by me, so I'm gonna stir this. Now there's a trick to the divinity. So I'm going to put the thermometer in the pan. You don't want to touch the bottom of the pan, but you have to have this in here going all the time. And you're going to get that, you got to stir occasionally. You're going to get that up to the 250 degrees. So while that is going, you're going to take your egg whites and along with your pinch of salt, and you are going to put that in your mixer. And a pinch of salt. I always wonder when you see a recipe, Mom, what do you think? When you see a recipe and it says a pinch of salt, is it mine and your pinch of salt or Steve's pinch of salt? Because
a little bit.
if it's my husband's pinch of salt, it means
It's a handful of salt with a little extra.
it means this. No, my husband's would be a pinch of salt. Mine, what do you think mine would be, Ken?
Well, if you're anything like me, it's enough to clog your arteries with cholesterol.
That's pretty much mine.
Yep.
And then you throw it over your shoulder. I'm not going to throw it over my shoulder and have it in the kitchen. But I'm going to start whipping these. I do it slow at first, and then I move a little faster. Are you ready? And you're going to mix the egg whites until there are stiff peaks. So I just keep moving it faster and faster until all the peaks. Oh, that looks amazing.
That is our
Are you
fudge.
taking it to the inspector, Jen?
I am indeed. I'm going to let the woman of the house inspect. What you think? Perfect. There's a little bit of the marshmallow fudge didn't quite mix in, but that's okay because the majority did. It'll give a little bit of extra flavor. I'm going to put it in the fridge to let it chill.
Nope, don't want it.
Oh, this fudge is
I
nice.
just put,
Oh, you do have the fridge.
I just put a towel over it.
Okay. Perfect.
And I'm sorry for the noise, the mixer is loud. What is it?
175.
Okay. We are, we just got the fudge done. Now we've got the divinity. How are we on this?
I have not started yet. I need to do that next, and then after that, we'll go ahead and buy fudge. Go up to the baby.
That sounds good. The family who bakes together and films together stays together.
Oh, you still have that quarter cup of butter? Or do you use it?
Right here, perfect. This is for
Oh, ready to quarter cup. I need to find you cookies. There we go. There we go. Cut there. when I bake, I actually melt my butter beforehand when I'm doing cookies. But today I'm not going to just because we're actually wanting these to mold. Yeah, definitely pretty good. But I'm also going to be using these to mold. So instead of doing regular, I want them to be able to hold this cake because the whole point is to make it look more like lumps of coal versus flat cookies. So I do want it to be a little stiff.
So then once this becomes white heat, and it is stiff white heat, and it should, if you have two people doing this at the same time, and I hope you all can hear me. If you have two people doing this at the same time, one making the candy side and one whipping that, Steve and I did this last year, and you have to get these whipped up where they have a stiff heat, and then you add the candy and the vanilla all at the same time, and you keep mixing, and it just turns it into the divinity. And then you gotta grab it, spoon it, drop it. And I try to make little pieces. You get about the great perfect ones for about the first 10. Then after that, they start looking a little different because it starts drying out. All right. Yeah, I'll do that right now. That rinsed out? For the day. All right, so we're getting close. This is pretty close to my peaks. I'm going to check it real quick. Well, we've got peaks. I'm going to keep that going. All right, perfect.
Let's go to 225.
1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. So remember, don't do like I do occasionally. I have 1 teaspoon and I go 1 tablespoon. That's a half a tablespoon. This is 1 teaspoon.
While you're measuring that out, I want to go ahead and show everybody. So because this is going to be turning black, as soon as I added my eggs, my whites ended up turning the entire mixture blue. So this is going to be really neat to see how it turns out. Nana, would you like to see?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You'd like to see as well?
Oh, that looks so pretty. It looks green.
Exactly.
Are they
and
grinchy?
I guess so.
They're
Hey,
grinchy
we got
when they
3 minutes,
start.
So that's good, and I'm almost ready to go.
I guess they're grinchy when they start and then they turn to cold because the Grinch has a black heart.
No, it's a heart 3 sizes too small.
Oh, it's a heart 3 sizes too small. She's right. That is what they say. But his heart grew 3
sizes that day. Okay, well,
This is like
Do you feel sorry for me yet or what?
we can see the house.
Yeah. He
You
has
don't
to
mind,
live
I'm
with
gonna
this.
scoot through you real quick and get the 3rd cup. Thank you.
So if your peaks start to drop a little bit, I let it off for a couple seconds and then I turn it back on and get them back up to peak because you want them at peak when he starts to pour the candy. It's 2:35. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. We're getting close. And this is a really nice faucet. I keep forgetting that it's touch. I thought I touched it. So my mom is blind, so there's a lot of things that we have helped add to her house between my brother and I. We have a touchless or a touch faucet, and then she has the Google Home for her front door where she can see what's going on, and she has a thumb tab where she can push the button and she can turn on and off some lights with her saying, "Hey Google." How we doing? 240. We got 10 degrees to go. And sometimes it feels like that last degree is the longest. And I'm going to turn that off for a second again. That last degree sometimes feels like it takes forever. Now I'm going to make sure to check this all the way at the bottom and see how it is to make sure we are fully stiff. We are. We have great peaks. So are you enjoying this, Mom?
Yep.
Is this quite what you thought I said when we were gonna come over and make divinity and fudge with you?
Big whiskers were long. That's what I like to use. There.
Just so there's 245 plus.
245 plus. We are almost there. So I hope everyone is getting prepared for Christmas. And just remember that just because it's been a hard year and money might be tight, my daughter and I have found a bunch of really cute things at Dollar General, the Dollar Store, Dollar Tree. Everyone has something of that version at their house. So all you have to do is look around a little bit, be intuitive, and make something, create something, design something. I think your family and friends would absolutely love what you make them. It's what comes from the heart, not from the pocket.
250.
250. All right, we're ready to go. So now when you mix the divinity and they are putting it in, you want to keep this going. Go ahead. So if you can see, I'm adding the vanilla right over on the side. I am trying to avoid the hot pan. Now you want to lift this on high until it starts forming its own peak, and the peak stays there. As soon as the peak starts staying, then you want to quickly start putting it onto your surface that you're going to put it on. Oh, it's starting to look like divinity. Starting to look like it. It's got that glassy look right now. It's pretending. So you do want that glassy look. If your divinity looks flat or chunky, you don't want to use it. It's got to look like glass. It's very gloss. It looks like gloss white paint is what it should look like. Oh, your coal kind of looks like a coal. Yeah, get there. Get there. And then the trick also that I've learned over the years of doing divinity is don't keep stopping your mixer to check. Just keep the mixer going at high speed, and you'll know when it's starting to make peaks because it leaves those lines as it's going. And when those lines are staying and not changing, you know it's probably ready to start peaking. That's what I do. Well, no, I want to wash my hands off yet. You want to go right back in. Now, there are a lot of people that like to use a hand mixer doing this, and I'll tell you what, that is exhausting. You'll burn it out or you'll burn your hand out. You can't hold it and move it as fast as you can with the kitchen. You can also tell, even on high speed, once it's been going for a while and it's getting thicker and starting to harden up a little bit where it's ready to start dropping, your mixer will start making a sound that says it's struggling more because it's getting stiff like concrete.
It's in the pan. And I'm gonna need you to sit here and add a little bit at a time. I need to tell you what it's about. A little bit of that. Yeah, a little bit of flour to let it up.
It's definitely looking like cold.
Very much so.
The inspection, what do you think? It's pretty close, right?
No,
It's still hot,
we need to get some ice on there.
right?
There's a little polar bear. My little papillon.
I don't know that I have a bowl that can fit underneath it. Oh, right for Tamsin, there's like a platter bowl. And put some ice in. So, that's the 80-year-old coming in to tell you a good trick is to put ice in your pan and put it underneath of it because you want it to start cooling. And I forgot about that.
little bit more ice instead of everything. I think we got a little bit cold cooking right up in here.
Oh, that was
Tastes pretty good. It actually does taste pretty good. Just let me try a little bit. Promise I'll wash my hands.
Oh, that actually does taste pretty good.
Try a little bit. No need to go to waste.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good citrus in you. You want to try a little? Get some off? Somewhere?
It absolutely looks horrendous, but it tastes pretty yum. It looks blue.
Yeah, I know.
It
But when
started
it
out green, then
whenever
it
it
looks
cooks,
blue, and when
it's gonna get so dark, it's gonna turn black.
that's really cool.
And you might be wondering why I have cookie dough all over my hands. Something my mom taught me a long time ago. That whenever you want really good cookie dough that's gonna be thick and be able to hold shape, mix it with your hands. That way, you know the consistency, you know how it's gonna be, and also you can also make sure that you get the last little bits of the corners of the ingredient. I had a little bit of an issue with this one where it was just a little too powdery. Had to add an extra egg and just a little bit of flour just to make sure that it was the perfect consistency to be able to do. And always keep washing your hands.
Well, we're getting closer and closer with the divinity.
Get there. And then I have a quick question for you. Do you have a potato scooper or an ice cream scoop?
Ice cream scoop?
Or that regular? They're not going to work. I wanted you to have a potato scooper. The one where it has the thing and it has a little wizard export. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is going to be a little big.
There's a smaller one. There's like that melon ball. I think I'm
Actually, that might be perfect.
Oh, this might work.
Which one? That might work. See if we have the other one.
You can hear it starting to
You can hear it start to.
definitely cooling off a bit.
And there's
So I know some of the people that do use a hand mixer, they take their mixing bowl and stick it in the ice and use their hand mixer. So this is a good way to do it. Okay, I'm starting to see.
Kind of see some bits on the side.
Now I'm starting to see when it grabs the side and it leaves a little hook and it stays there. So we're just about ready. It's starting to see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think at least we can test it for sure and see. Nope. Almost. It's almost there. scooping, this is gonna start settling. Yep, see it's,
Oh, these are definitely not gonna. Okay, well, Cole's not normally uniform anyway.
so I don't know if they can see on this camera. The first ones are gonna drop, and they're gonna become like dollar bills or silver dollars. But as you can see, even as it's starting to, so what I do is I spin it, and then I grab and try to get a little peek on it. So I kind of do this where the first couple, oh, we've got a technical difficulty.
Yeah.
The first couple, is it got sound?
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, okay. The first couple kind of come out more like silver dollars. But then the reason I do it when it's not 100% peaking is because if you wait until it's 100% peaking, you're going to have a very difficult time putting your divinity down. So those will still harden and they will still stiffen as it's pouring. Just set that down. So at this point, it's not quite, it still probably could have used a hair longer, but not much. It was definitely staying on my spoon. But the important part, what's the most important part about divinity besides it standing up? It tasting like divinity.
It's not sugary.
You want it to taste like divinity, not like straight hard, and you want it to be smooth. You want it to be smooth, and this one is all turning to like dollar bills. But it tastes like divinity. We have to take it to the...
And this is why you keep all the bags out until fully done. Because you forget about how long it was to go.
Is it 8 to 10 minutes?
How do you know?
Because I read it.
Okay, first batch is going in the oven. Father, would you like to open the door so I don't get coal everywhere? First batch in.
Look, you can do more than 8 at a time.
It's not funny. Not funny at all.
Not funny, Ed.
Not funny, Ed. Gonna have string of
So I'm actually going to start it at 7 minutes because with us being at a good thing to know for baking or cooking, when you actually reside at a higher altitude, it takes less time to bake. So I'm actually going to sit at 7, which is going to be a little bit below our minimum. Go ahead and check it. If it needs a little bit longer, go ahead. It's always better to check at an earlier time than wait too late. I've learned that multiple times as it took me 6 tries to get peanut butter cookies done perfectly yesterday. And yet I'm trying a brand new recipe today.
Well, yeah, we live in the northern Nevada Sierra Mountains, so we have a different altitude. So we definitely end up with a little bit when you are cooking something in your oven or baking. Baking especially, but even if you're making something like meatloaf, it will actually have a different timing for meatloaf as well. So
Ooh.
our divinity
Get it off. Get
has,
it off.
our divinity is coming out tasting
Oh,
really
that's
good,
so good.
but it is taking a little bit, and I
Just wash my hands so I can
I
keep
grabbed that cute little spoon thinking it would be really good, and it is not really good.
See? Clean as you go. As you see, there's only 2 that keep going over to the...
Hey,
See?
I have been doing it a little bit tonight, more than probably normal. Usually I don't bother,
But sometimes you do.
but sometimes I do.
Probably because you were called out at the beginning.
Yep, and
That's why I wash my hands. I need to go around. Yeah, let me pull that. You think it works with it? Come back and have to do it 3 times. I finally am getting up and just gonna say,
these ones are turning out to be flat divinity instead. So they did. I guess I could have let it go
Could've
just
peeked
a
a little
little
more.
bit longer. It was just a little bit too soon on the peaking, but it'll get there.
You know what I just thought of? What would be really funny. We're giving them coal at the beginning. By the time they leave, maybe they'll get a little divinity.
Yeah,
They were good. Maybe.
They could
I don't know if
have
I'm gonna share.
they could have the dollar sign, the silver dollar divinity.
I know if I'm gonna share though.
Oh, I know. I'm telling you. This is probably one of my favorite is the divinity. So now,
Are you gonna make another batch?
right now, no. This is the only one I'm making right now. I'll probably make more. This one's staying here. I'm gonna probably take a couple pieces, but this is staying here for you. We came over to here to make this for you.
I want to just,
I'm putting nuts in the rest of it. I actually was just getting ready to go put some nuts in it.
Oh, pecans are in the back corner of the.
Do you want pecans?
Deacon.
Pecans?
Now, if you're from the south, you say pecans.
Yeah,
Or no,
pecans or pecan,
Pecans.
Yeah, pecans. That's really what we say.
pecans.
Most. The only reason I say pecans is because I was raised up north of Knox.
This is gonna be fun, because you gotta get this in and mix it and hope it gets into the divinity. Yep. Just drop it all in there. I need one more of those.
That's that.
Yeah, okay.
This will turn out perfect timing. I'll be putting the second one in, and we'll be just all done with divinity by the first batch is out.
And then our
And
food will be done, pretty much. Oh, no, I forgot we didn't do that one yet.
Luckily, my fudge only takes about 5 minutes to prep.
This was the worst spoon for me to be doing this with. I thought it was cute. And
Yeah, you wanted me to use that.
didn't it make
to
like
do
a
mine.
perfect little, well, yours it might have worked better because it didn't all stick to it.
Oh no, this one's sticking. I promise. Look at that. Look at that. It ain't going nowhere.
Oh, yeah, it's,
It's more like cement than coal.
you
but
should
hey.
go show them that on the
Oh gosh.
camera.
Okay.
Because that was kind of cool.
So this is the cool part about our coal. It's not coming off. But the reason it's like that, it has that consistency, so that way it'll take its shape and hold its shape while it's cooking. So while most cookies, even if you do it in a ball-like fashion, it'll end up as it cooks go down and spread out. This is less likely to do that because, as you can see, it's not moving. So it's not really going to spread very much, which also means I'm going to have to be very careful while I cook it to make sure that it doesn't burn on the bottom while still trying to cook the center. Which is another reason why we're stopping at 7 minutes.
See, now it's really peeking up and I can't get the spoon on.
Is it fighting you?
Yes.
Fighting you just a little bit? Just a little bit. Sorry, I had to have some sort of.
That's
The
some kind of
actual
weird
part in
looking
here.
thing. Here, can you take that part over because that is very, very strong. So, would you like me to take this part over and get
I
those in
just
the
finished.
oven? Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to get them in the oven so you can?
If you
start
do
the
not
next
mind, and that way I can wash
Do you
it
need
up.
this bowl?
I can take it over because I gotta rinse my hands anyways.
And this goes in for
There you go.
6 minutes, you said?
7, please. So we're gonna do it in the bottom oven, and then if you do not mind, we'll have you use the timer on the microwave because I have the timer going on the oven already for our top oven.
the bottom oven have the timer too?
Yeah, I don't know how to work it.
Cooking time.
So I don't know. Okay, so I accidentally set the lower oven, so when the lower oven one goes off, we pull it out of the upper oven.
Okay.
Because I did not realize how fancy your stuff was, because most ovens I work with don't have multiple timers. Yeah. So when it says
so
upper
we've got
oven,
1 minute left on that one and 7 minutes left on that.
well, that is actually perfect because I only need a couple minutes.
All right.
So we're gonna go ahead and take my.
So now we have made fudge, divinity, and now
Coal.
and coal cookies, and now we are making the. Which one is this one?
This is the low sugar.
This is the low sugar
Peanut butter fudge.
peanut butter fudge. So this is the next one, and we got
And the last
divinity
one as well.
on the table.
Okay. Move all my stuff out of the way. Get out of your guys' way real quick.
Can you check that refrigerator and make sure it's
Of course.
No, I hear a beep from somewhere.
Oh, it's my timer going off. Perfect. You have toothpicks by
Well, you're blind, Mom, not deaf.
chance? You have a toothpicks by chance? Perfect. Flat toothpicks. That'll work for you. Thank you, timer. Not that you can see because you're pointed the other way, but I'm over here at the oven right now, and I'm going to go ahead and take a toothpick. I'm going to be sticking it into the two middle cookies on the top. Since neither of them are done, we're going to go ahead and keep cooking and see how we go.
Take him one and turn it back a little bit.
We're going to go for another 2 minutes, and we're going to go at that point in time.
We'll never have that. Only we just gonna.
Perfect. Hi. So while you guys are over here watching me, I'm going to go ahead and start doing my peanut butter fudge. So what I have is I have a cup of peanut butter. I picked my favorite. It does call for either sugar-free or natural sugar-free. Perfect. And
Do you need this phone?
no, ma'am, I do not. So what this one calls for is it calls for a cup of your favorite peanut butter. Because this is technically a keto recipe, it does say for an all-natural, sugar-free. I'm not quite keto. I am lower sugar, so it's not going to have 4 cups of sugar in it. But it is going to be a little bit better, and I also do like the flavor of a regular peanut butter as well. I'm just that picky. I'm weird, but completely up to you what you use. I use store brands, no problem. So, I'm actually putting it in the wrong bowl. Whoops. So this one can't go in the microwave. Yeah, don't put metal bowls in the microwave. Good tip to remember.
Only if they are the type that can be a convection microwave that allows metal.
Well, for those of you who are not so fancy to have a convection microwave, don't put bowls in the microwave.
Correct.
You're only in your 20s and you have a convection oven, I applaud you. If you do not, don't worry, you're just like the rest of us.
Well, we don't have one either, but I know that there are some people that do. So just a little anecdotal.
Okay.
We have one in our RV though.
Oh yeah, you guys do, don't you? Fancy.
Don't have one in the house, but we've got one in the RV.
For whatever reason.
Well, because we have no oven in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You guys took your oven out.
We took the oven out and put it in a dishwasher. So when we did that, we got the
Ooh, my butter's
convection oven so that we would still have an oven.
Exactly.
And it actually doesn't do too bad.
I really do love peanut butter. Okay, so it asks for a cup of peanut butter and a half cup of butter. Softened, of course, not quite melted because you're actually going to be melting it in the microwave. So what this one calls for is it says, if anybody has a chance, if they can check the cookies in the top, please.
Yep, I'm going right now.
Thank you, not a problem. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but still. And then the toothpicks are right next to it. So we're going to go ahead and take this bowl. We also put
You're
our
just
butter.
checking one?
Check in the very center, second one, if you know what I mean. Don't burn yourself excited.
This one?
Yep. And we're clear. Because so another thing about cooking, making cookies, if you think that they're not quite done because they don't look done, always use a toothpick. If they don't look done, when you pull them out, they're actually going to harden and sink as they're cooling. As they're hot, they're gonna stay up and they're gonna keep looking like that. So you'll actually end up overdoing your cookies. Now what I do whenever I do my cookies is I go ahead and, we got 2 more minutes on the other one. I go ahead and let them sit for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll actually take a spatula and lift underneath them and then put them back down. If you don't go ahead and use that spatula to separate them, as they harden, they'll actually start to stick to your aluminum foil, your pan, even if you spray it.
So do you want me to start separating them? or
If you don't mind, go right ahead. I will double check and just see. And, ooh, that's really hot. Very hot. I actually touched the pan instead of burning myself twice now. Note to self, don't burn yourself on another either. And I did not actually move that one because I touched the pan. So these are actually just about perfectly done. I'm very happy about it. The bottoms
Would you
are
like
solid.
me to put those on the round pan?
If you would like, you are more than welcome to. If you want to let them cool for a minute, you can do that as well. So that's it. So with this, what we're going to do is we're going to take our half stick of butter. We're also going to take our peanut butter, and we're going to put it in the microwave for 1 minute at a time as it melts. Once that butter is fully melted, we'll go ahead and keep mixing it. Some people say, oh, don't mix it until it's done melting. I mix it as it goes because the peanut butter will melt as well. And you actually can burn peanut butter. I've done it. Don't ask me how. But you can.
I flip them over to the other side for a second. Then I'm going to flip them back over. It'll get so that part is not hot on the plastic. Nope, they won't.
Okay.
I promise.
Ooh, you scared me. I was like, don't mess with my cold.
That way
You
it
make your divinity
That
because
way-
you're all special and everything, and I'm just.
that way it cools just a little bit and hopefully doesn't burn like plastic.
Oh, true. Didn't think about that. Yeah, I told you to let it cool. Ooh, this one. So that actually looks pretty good. For that looking like coal, I think we actually did a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah.
They still lumped up. They're actually cooked all the way in, and they're still soft. So that's actually really good. They will harden a little bit as they cool, but at least we know we're not going to have rocks, even though coal should be like rocks. But I'm a little bit worse than that.
We do have silver dollar
Ooh, these ones did not
divinity
stay as well.
because I think I was a little bit fast on the getting it off the thing.
Leave it on long
I
enough.
should have left it on a little bit longer, but that's okay because it still tastes.
It's too shiny.
It still tastes really good. Well, it's probably still warm. I don't know if it's hardened up on there yet.
No,
Okay, so we just added 2 more minutes. These ones unfortunately didn't hold their shape as much. I did wait a little bit longer, which did allow it to separate a little bit more. So time is of the essence. I just had a little bit more issues than I normally would, but we're still going to have some really great tasting cookies. So because this is a really nice, really good microwave, all of our butter is actually already melted after just that 1 minute. So we're gonna go ahead and stir this all up and get it into a nice paste-like texture. And fork.
Nope, I'm hard. Just kidding.
Whenever I want something to be a very, very good stir, very good mixture in, I like to use a fork. It allows you to take those harder pieces, such as the peanut butter, kind of really get in there and stir them better. And it also allows to get any clumps that might not have melted quite as much as the rest, and get that really thoroughly through and get that into a very decent, smooth mixture. I usually like to do that when I make my cookies, actually, but I decided not to because I was making so many, and I just feel like using a fork and basically breaking my arm doing it. Okay,
That looks pretty good though.
that actually looks, it's good. Ooh, I really like that. But I'm a peanut butter freak, so like I
I
said.
love peanut butter. We fought over jars of peanut butter this morning.
Oh, we actually did.
at the house.
I kind
That's
of wish.
actually really yummy.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go ahead and add our vanilla. Now this recipe does call for a quarter teaspoon of salt, but because we did use peanut butter that was salted and we are using salted butter as well, they said don't go ahead and do that salt because this is a sugar-free mixture, or a light sugar, I should say. You're not going to want to have too much salt because it's going to overpower, because we are using an artificial sweetener, so that can be very easily overpowered. So it does call for 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Because it's keto, it did call for an organic, gluten-free. I'm not using that because I'm very weird. Go ahead and look and see how they're looking. We'll check here.
A little bit.
I think those are good. That should be good because I did it 2 minutes like I did the other one. So we're gonna just stir that vanilla in real quick, and that's gonna help give a little bit of a sweeter flavor as well. Even though we are using the sugar substitute, it'll still help it very well. So this is actually looking pretty much just like melted peanut butter, but it is going to be a lot thinner than regular melted peanut butter because we do have that cup of butter and that vanilla in here. So I love how the instructions on here actually say, be careful, the bowl is hot. I would hope everybody would know, but like I said, be careful, the bowl might be hot. You're also gonna go ahead and after this, we're gonna add the sugar-free powdered sugar in. It does ask for sugar-free powdered sugar, but you can use any sort of sugar supplement instead. It'll make it a little bit thicker and a little bit grainier, but I think it'll work just fine. So we're actually using a sugar-free baking blend. So it's actually a stevia and raw sugar blend. So although it is sugar-free, it is going to be a little bit more coarse. It looks more like salt. If you want to look at it, it's not nearly as fine as normal sugar is. So it will give a little bit of a body to this fudge. So we're going to go ahead and add all this in. We're going to stir everything in completely. I'm throwing measuring cups today. We're getting a little crazy up in here. And we're just going to mix this all in together. And that is literally all the ingredients for this fudge. It's very simple, very easy. Not a lot of cook time to it at all. Actually, no cook time, honestly. So we're just going to go ahead and stir that. I already have this fork already here. So I'm just going to stir it with the fork. Try to get as much of that sugar mixed through as possible. Make sure that we don't have any good clumps or anything like that. Like I said, because we are using a sugar supplement, it is going to be a little bit grainier than normal, but that's not going to be bad. If I had the powdered sugar, it would obviously be a little bit smoother. But with the stores being so close to the holidays, it's very hard to find those specialty items such as sugar-free powdered sugar. So we have this mix.
Or fondue mix.
Oh, yes, that too. So we're going to go ahead and take this. So it is saying that it's supposed to be a lot thicker and harder to stir. Obviously, it's not for me. That's probably because of the type of sugar that I used. But still, it's not going to be a problem. We're going to take this. We're going to go ahead and put this in our pan, and we're going to actually chill it. And it has to be chilled for 6 hours overnight. It can't just sit out like normal fudge because of the fact that you're using a lot of liquid measurements and everything instead of doing a lot of solids. So like you guys were using, you had butter, and then the vanilla, but everything else was a solid mixture. So because you're not using almost
very little
any
bit
here.
water, very little cream, and the rest was all
So this is how our fudge is looking. Like I said, it is really, really fluid, but it is actually very thick at the same time. So that's why we have to let it sit overnight for 6 hours. So although the prep time is really easy, it's the overall time. Yeah, let's go ahead and use the smallest one we can find. Just because, and this obviously the reason I didn't make nearly as much is because I really don't want to share. I'll share with the other diabetics. We're going to use that one on the right.
Do you need it buttered?
Actually, no, we're not going to because of the amount of liquid that we used. And plus, I like it because even though if it sticks to the pan, I like to lift the pan later. I'm very bad, but I really don't have to share too
Although I
much of
have
this
to say, I'm definitely going to try one because.
Oh, definitely. I think this is going to be really good. Like I said, it is pretty thin. It is, so it's not going to be very deep.
You want the?
But as a diabetic, yes, if you have a spatula or something, that would be perfect. Spoon. Oh, perfect. Oh, that's so cute. It's so little. Oh, it's a little like me. At least that's what my fiance says.
Yeah.
Says you're so cute and little. I'm like, yeah, you're not much taller than me. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and get as much of this out as we can. Try to save as much so we're not wasting. That's a big thing that you'll see whenever I bake or I cook is that I really don't like to waste. I like to get this as much done as possible. So we are just about done. Once I get this done, I'm going to take, Nana, do you by chance have any saran wrap to cover this with?
No,
Okay, not a problem. I'll use a little bit of aluminum foil, cover it.
I thought I bought saran wrap.
Oh, that tastes really good.
Different type of wrap.
Really good. It's okay, we can just use the aluminum foil. because this will be transported, I want to have a little bit of aluminum foil, so as long as it is cooling here, we can go ahead and try to keep some of that coolness in, and then go ahead and,
I think it's probably because these ones are smaller.
Yeah, some of those are
much
smaller.
bigger. So
how long did you add it on there for?
2 minutes.
I would have taken them out.
They're really gooey. Like gooey. The big ones, and these are almost all big.
Yeah.
These ones were a lot gooier. Why did it turn it off?
You were running the lower instead of the upper.
Well, it was in the lower of it originally,
So
so that's why I had it on low.
This is how
is
it's
this
done.
still on now?
Yeah,
No, it's not.
it was.
Yeah, no. Okay, that's why it's not going quite as well. Let's go ahead and look at these real quick.
Okay.
If I can get a toothpick from you.
They might be good now because they've been in there.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Okay. We've had them in there while we've been messing with
Yeah.
the oven, and
So,
it's still hot enough in there.
the big thing with these is they might look pretty gooey, but as long as the bottoms are solid, which they are, you're gonna be good to go because a lot of people say, oh, well, they're not cooked all the way through. Like I said, the number one thing to remember when you're baking is just because it might not look done doesn't mean it isn't done. As we saw with the Divinity earlier, just because it looks done doesn't mean it's always automatically done.
Yep.
Divinity, I would not have had any clue on. It still looks and tastes amazing. But with cookies, especially whenever you're doing a bigger or a thicker cookie, you tend to have a lot of issues with people trying to say, oh, well, it looks soft in the center, it's going to fall. Not necessarily. If you do chocolate chip, yes, they're going to fall. But with these ones, because I did actually add extra egg in there to kind of keep them from falling apart, that's why they actually stayed mostly as a mound. Now the second batch, I did make them a lot bigger, so they did fall a lot more because it took a little bit longer to cook them. But really, just watch and go by your gut instinct. If you think, the timer says it's done, I'm going to pull them out, pull them out. Or else you're going to come out with really burnt. There we go. Or else you're going to come out with really burnt cookies. But I honestly think we have 4 absolutely amazing recipes that we made today.
I think we did a great job, and we're a little over our normal time, but this was a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun.
I thought it was really cool. The Divinity needed to stiffen it up a little bit more. I was rushing it, trying to get it done, so it was done, in a timely manner. But just go a little bit longer, and if your peaking is not fully peaking and it's too glossy, just wait a little bit longer. But other than that, that's all you got to do. So I think, come up here, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm waving at the blind lady like she's supposed to know what I'm doing. All right. Well, come join us, husband. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, that's about all he likes to do unless he's building something. But from our family to yours, Merry Christmas. And I hope you have some tasty treats and not so many Grinchy greets.
Oh, there you
go.
go. Have a happy
All right.
holidays.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
Bye.
Now to clean up the chaos.
Yeah. Now it's clean.